Do you ever wish that you could identify notes and chord progressions when you're listening to music? Or do you wish that you could play by ear even better? Well, stay tuned because that's what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Josh Ring, and I'm here to help you create better music, believe in yourself, and share your gifts with others. And today I'm going to break down my three favorite apps that I use to train my ear. You can use these wherever you're at in your journey. You can use them just as you're starting out, just starting to work on identifying music by ear, or as you get more advanced, it has a lot of great features for the advanced player like me, so I can keep developing my ear. All right, so wherever you're at, this will be helpful for you. And before we dive in, I just wanted to share my free music theory survival guide. Just go to joshring.com/free. It has a lot of great features, including my personal favorite system for learning relative pitch. Speaking of relative pitch, if you haven't, please check out my other video where I break down the pros and cons of all the various systems that you could use to develop your own relative pitch. So let's dive in. All right, so the first app I wanted to break down is Tenuto, and I've talked about this app before. I've used it for a lot of great features. So if you scroll down, the second to last section here is this ear training, and all of these are just wonderful. So I'm going to start here with my personal favorite one. This is the note ear training one, the second one, and then we'll break down all the other ones. So you hear when you open it up, it'll play what is known as your reference note, and then it asks you what is the note in question from there. And from there, you can tell it which one it is, and then it'll move on to another note. So then you can always play the reference note back, but it always is asking you a new note. So as you go through, etc. So you can see it's just testing you on a different random note, and you can change some various parameters from there. So let me dive into some of the parameters. So this gear in the top right, if you open that up, you can customize your exercise. So here at the top, you can say what notes do you want to test yourself on. And maybe you're just starting out, so you want to get rid of a bunch of notes. Maybe you just want to deal with like C, D, and E, just three notes to get started. And as you get more comfortable, you can expand your range. Other things you can do is change what is your reference note. So I just have it set to C. It doesn't really matter. You can change your speed, faster or slower from there. You can change your instrument. A good one to change is the range. So similar to changing what notes, maybe you only want to deal with, say, an octave, or maybe you just want to deal with a perfect fifth like this, right? So you can expand your range as you get more comfortable as you go along. Personally, I have my students go up to like 2 octaves once they're getting really comfortable with it. Another great feature is the note names here. So if we go into that, you can change it to scale degrees or solfege or even pitch class integer notation if you want. Personally, I'm a huge fan of solfege. I've talked about this before. So I have my students do this in solfege. So when you do that and go out, it'll change everything into solfege for you. So you can work on your relative pitch there. Other things, it can have accidentals, so if you want sharps or flats or both. Next question. Personally, I set it to immediately as I'm more comfortable, but you could also set it to maybe after tap or after a replay. That way you can hear the note and double check. That way you weren't just guessing blindly. And one of my personal favorite features down here at the bottom is challenge mode. That way you can set to how long do you want to challenge yourself. Personally, just like 1 minute is fine. So if you go out, you can see how many can you get correct in a minute. That way you can see how you're doing. As you're doing that, if you change any of the other parameters, it'll kind of erase it. But otherwise, if you do a challenge mode, it'll save your high score. So for example, let me go do one for you. So here we have the challenge mode. So that was our sol. Right. So as I exit out of that, I'm going to stop it for now. Right, so it shows me that I've gotten a high score 4, but if I do another challenge mode and I just do really poorly, right, I'm going to end it there. All right, so I got 2 out of 7 that time, right? I only got a 29%, right? So that it saved my high score from last time. If you go in, you can even share your high score with a teacher or something if you wanted. Going back out, some other great ones, keyboard. Ear training is basically the same thing, but you play in a keyboard instead of just telling it what note it is. Interval ear training is kind of what it implies. It'll play an interval for you, and you can select same kind of thing, all sorts of intervals, all the way up to a double octave there. Other great things, you can say what kind of play mode. Do you want it just ascending? Descending gets a little harder, or even yet when it's playing harmonically, so at the same time, those kinds of things. And again, you have some options for what range and challenge mode from there. Scale ear training Like it implies, it'll play a scale for you. Right, so you can set what scales you want to work through. Working through modes is a great feature, or some other types of scales you might encounter, like your pentatonic, blues, whole tone. So another great thing, you can ascending, descending, both. How fast do you want it to play for you? And the last but not least is this chord ear training. Well, it'll play an entire chord for you, and here again you have options for what types of triads or seventh chords might you want it to play back for you. Will inversions be included or not? Are they going to be harmonic or arpeggiations or both? All great features, and same kind of things as the other settings. I like this note ear training the most. Up next, I wanted to talk about Chet, which is just an absolutely revolutionary app. It's just mind-boggling what all is included in this, and it's absolutely free to use. And you can use it on your iPad, your iPhone, whatever you want to use. It's available for you. So I'll start with, it has these libraries of different types of things. So you might, if you wanted to start with intervals, so you can start with beginner, intermediate, or advanced, and as you get more comfortable, you can keep moving along in different kinds of scales, arpeggios. Even chord progression. You're just going to work through 1, 4, 5. You can get more advanced. So just absolutely amazing what it can do. You're going to work through even the tunes, like melodies that you might be aware of, that you've heard. So from classical to video games to jazz and blues to pop, all sorts of things. Beatles, just mind-boggling what it has included. And another great part in the top left, you can switch from library to path here. And so you have this pathway like you do in a lot of video games, or I use the app called Duolingo for learning Spanish. So just like that, you can work your way through, and you have checkpoints. And once you get comfortable, you can move on to harder levels. Finally, it even has this challenge mode, so you can play against other people, see how you're doing in various categories against other people that are using the app. And you can even hook up a MIDI keyboard, and so you can use that. So let me show you kind of what it's really all about going into a mode. So if we go into the library, let's try out tunes. And as we go through, you can see some various things that we could play through. All right, so let's do like nursery rhymes, right? And so as it's loading, you can see it has a leaderboard, so you can see who has the highest score of all time, or just this month. You can follow your friends if you have anyone that's playing with. So you have a practice mode and a play mode. So if I go into it, so you can see it'll play a song for you, and you have the option to repeat the song here. And it tells you what it starts on, and then you can go from there. So as you go along, you can get faster and faster. You can try to get a multiplier by getting more correct in a row. And you can hear it has actual recordings. So like, let's see like the Michael Jackson one. Right, so you can see it's playing actual sections of it. Right, so as you're going along, it's actually playing things. Another great feature besides that, if we go into progressions here, it'll play chord progressions for us. So different chords with just 1, 4, and 5, for example. Right, so going into various categories like tonal here, you can see it gets more complicated as it goes along. So you can try just seeing the beginner things, you can see the more advanced things, a lot of great features. And again, you're actually playing it on the piano. One of my personal favorites is this Theory and Practice. So this is actually playing songs for you. So if we go like into the chord progressions.
I really want to see you, really want to be with you.
So being able to identify, and it gives you this multiple choice to select it.
Running on empty, running blind.
Yeah, so I love this feature because it's actually playing real music for you. All right, the last one I want to share is actually a website. So here we are on Teoría.com. It has just a whole plethora of wonderful things for us. We're actually going to go over here on the right, music theory and ear training exercises. So when we go into that, there's a lot of great things here, but under ear training here on the left, if we go into chords, open that up, and down here at the bottom is what my personal favorite thing is. So I'm just going to show you that is this harmonic progressions. So when we open up harmonic progressions, you can see progressions using just 1, 4, and 5, all the triads, 7th chords, A secondary dominant, a lot of secondary dominants, and you can get more advanced as you like. You can change the key if you'd like, or you can just keep it in C. You're going to use inversions or not, etc., etc. And then at the bottom here, changing your speed. So when you get into it, you can play the chord progression. So over here, you can play it again. And from there, you can say what the chord progression was. So if you click on the first one here, you have your options. So that was a 1 chord. We can hit select. The next one, that was our 5. Going along, we had our 4, and we went back to 1. And if there's ever a chord we weren't sure about, we can play it again. And then hit next exercise, see if we got it. Etc. So another great resource. Going back, another great part is this jazz progression. So same kind of thing, but using some more jazz progressions that you might encounter. So 2-5-1s, and circle of fifths, secondary dominants, standard progressions, and tritone subs, and again, getting more complicated as it goes along. All right. So another great resource is this Teoría.com. Again, wherever you're at in your musical journey, I hope you find this helpful. Please let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite music apps that you've used to train your ear? There's a whole lot of other great ones. Some of them I probably don't even know about yet. So please let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. And don't forget to check out your free music theory survival guide. Go to joshring.com/free. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.